Morning, students. Today we are going to start the unit number 5, that is network layer. Okay, till now we have discussed about the introduction to computers, computer networks. After that we discussed about the physical layer. Third unit is data link layer. The fourth unit is medium access sublayer. Okay. Now unit number 5 is network layer. See the topics of the network layer on the screen. First, we need to discuss we need to know what is the network layer and what are the responsibilities of network layer. After this is introduction. Coming to the syllabus part, we need to note the design issues of network layer. Majorly, we are having five design issues. After design issues, till this part, design issues, store and forward packet switching, services provided to transport layer, implementation of connectionless service, and implementation of connection-oriented service. Till this part, the topic is network layer design issues. The second topic is the comparison of virtual circuit data and datagram network. Next, routing algorithms and some examples of routing algorithms. After that, the second part containing the congestion control and congestion control algorithms. Okay. Lastly, traffic throttling and load shedding. These are the topics we are going to cover in this unit. Let's move on to the syllabus part. It is very easy unit. All must follow the unit. Okay. Coming to the network layer, as we know, it is the third layer from bottom to top in OSI reference model. That is physical layer, data link layer. The third layer is network layer. Coming to the description of network layer, as we know, the network layer is mainly responsible for transmitting the packets from source to destination. The data unit in the network layer is called as packets. Here, the network layer is concerned with getting packets from source to the source all the way to the destination. That is the reason why it is called as source to destination data delivery or end-to-end data delivery. Okay. This is the responsibility of network layer. Coming to the first topic we are going to be started today is network layer design issues. Network layer design issues. We have 5 network layer design issues. Those are store and forward packet switching, services provided to transport layer, implementation of connectionless service, implementation of connection-oriented service, comparison of virtual circuit and datagram subnets. Okay, these are the main design issues of network layer. See, first we need to know what is a design issue. See, the design issue is nothing but it is a challenging problem. It represents a challenging problem through operational requirements and capabilities of the system. Okay, and the design issue is usually a very important item while designing the process and providing the design solutions. Okay, see how the network layer will provide the services. The first topic is store and forward packet switching. Why we called as packet in network layer is the network layer data unit name is packet. The data previously in the data link layer we called the data as frame. In this unit we are calling the data as packet. Let's move on. The first one, store and forward packet switching. Very easy. See here in this diagram, this is the middle one. This is the carrier's equipment. This circle is called as carrier equipment. I told you in the first unit itself. In the carrier equipment, we are having some routers. These are A, B, C, D, E or routers. Routers may be outside also. In the carrier network, we are having routers. Here, this is the host 1 and this is the host 2. Okay. In the host 1, we are having process P1. In the host 2, we are having the process P2. Okay. See, the meaning store and forward. See how from host 1, process 1 is communicate with host 2, process 2. That is nothing but the process in host 1 wants to communicate with the process in host 2. Okay, see how. First it will forward the packet. See, this is the packet number 1 mentioned here where my mouse is moving on. The packet, this is the packet which is to be forwarded from source to destination. Source to destination. See here, this is carrier equipment altogether. These are routers, and this is the customer equipment, nothing but destination. Let us assume this is a destination. Then what is the meaning of store and forward? See, from here, the packet needs to be transmitted. This is a host. This host is connected to the router A, the router A in the carrier equipment. Okay, here the packet is first transferred to A, from A to C, from C to E, E to F, and F to the process P2, which is in the host 2. Here, store. See, whenever the packet comes here, A will store the copy of data. A will store the copy of the packet and forward it to C. Similarly, C also stores the one copy of data, one copy of packet, and forwards to E. E also do same thing. E puts one copy of packet and forwards to F. Okay, this is called as store and forward. Okay, whenever the packet passes through, several routers, all routers kept one copy of data. Okay, whatever the packet it has passed, whatever the packets that are passed through the routers will keep one copy of data. Okay, this is called as store and forward packet switching. Here, the packet is transmitted from source to destination. This is store and forward packet switching. See here, a host with a packet to transmit to the nearest router. See here, the nearest router to this host is, see here, for this host H1, the nearest host is A. Nearest router either on its own LAN or over a point-to-point link to the carrier. Here, this is not in the own LAN. This is having a point-to-point link with the carrier's equipment. The packet is stored until it has fully arrived, so the checksum will be verified. Here, one point to be noted and one point to be noted here is how long. If I'm saying a router will keep one copy of data. Okay, how long that will keep the copy of data? How long? How much time the router will keep the copy of data? Here the answer is the packet is fully arrived at the destination. Once the packet reaches to the destination, after reaching to the destination, the packet needs to be verified by calculating the checksum. If it is okay, then the copy of data will be eliminated from the routers. Okay. That is what they mentioned. Then it is forwarded to the next router along the path until it reaches to the destination host where it is to be delivered. Okay. This mechanism is called as store and forward packet switching. Store and forward packet switching. Next. we have completed the first design issue of network layer, that is store and forward packet switching. Next, the second design issue is services provided to the transport layer. As we know, students, every below layer will provide service. Every below layer will provide services to its above layer. Here, what is the above layer for network layer? Here is the first layer is physical layer, data link layer, network layer, and the fourth layer is transport layer. So network layer will provide services to transport layer. Let's discuss with that. Services provided to transport layer. See, what kind of services the network layer provided to the transport layer. See, the first point here to be here is the network layer services have been designed with the following goals. Okay, let's see the goals. The first one is the services should be independent of the router technology. Okay, see, we have seen in the network layer we are having routers. If independent means the packets may be transmitted in independent routes. Okay. Next, the transport layer should be shielded from the number. The transport layer should be shielded from the number, type, and topology of the routers present. See here. Here, the transport layer should be shielded from the number, type, and topology of the how many number of routers, and the type and the topology, in which topology the routers are connected. Okay, all should be shielded. Next, the third point is the network addresses made available to the transport layer. The network addresses, the network layer will provide the IP addresses, right? These addresses made available to the transport layer. Okay, and should use uniform numbering plan even across LANs and WANs. Okay, the major responsibility of network layer is providing an address. While discussing about the network layer in the first unit, I told you data link layer is responsible for physical addressing. The network layer is providing for IP addresses. Okay, logical addressing. Okay, while creating the addresses, we need to made available those addresses to the transport layer and should be use uniform numbering plan. We have some plans even across it uses LANs and WANs. Okay, these three are the goals. Okay, next, this is not required. Next, only by using those three goals, the network layer will provide services to the transport layer. How it will provide services to transport layer means, see, at the sender side, just imagine students, at the sender side, the network layer will accept the data from transport layer, and at the receiver side, the network layer will send the data to the receiver's transport layer. This is how the network layer will provide services to transport layer with respect to delivery point of view. Okay. The third one is implementation of connectionless service. Implementation of connectionless service. See, here the network layer provides two types of services. One is connectionless and another one is connection oriented service. In the connectionless service, the packet is called as datagram. The packet is called as datagram. See here the first point. The two different organizations are possible depending upon the type of services offered. In connectionless service is offered. If connectionless service is offered, the packets are injected to the submit. Here only one point, student. Whenever we are using a connectionless service, there is no rule all packet needs to be transmitted in the same route till the destination. The packets may be transmitted when those are injected to the subnet. Those packets are individually transmitted in independent to each other. Let's take an example. All packet need not use the same route to the destination. They may travel in different routes. That is the key point of connectionless service. See here, for this there is no advanced setup is required. That means in connection oriented service, before transmitting the data, we need a setup. Once the setup is established, thereafter we can able to send the data. In this, there is no prior setup is required. The packets may be traveled in independent routes. Okay, these are called as datagrams. These packets are called. That means in connectionless service, the packets are called as datagrams, and the subnet is called as datagram subnet. I will show you in the next slide. Coming to the third point, if we uses the connection oriented service, the third point C, the point C represents, if we uses the connection oriented service, first we need to establish a route. That route is called as virtual circuit. From source to destination, we need to establish a virtual circuit. Once the virtual circuit is established, thereafter we can able to transmit the data through that virtual circuit. After finishing the data transmission, we need to remove that virtual circuit. Okay, this subnet is called as virtual subnet. In connectionless service, the subnet is called as datagram subnet. In connection oriented service, the subnet is called as virtual circuit subnet. See, it's very important, easy. Implementation of connectionless service. See here. Here in the host 1, we are having a process P1. Similarly, as in the previous example, the process P2 is in host 2. These two processes wants to communicate. Now let's start with from host 1, process P1. The host 1 is connected. This is a point-to-point connection with the subnet router. Here the host 1 is having point-to-point connection with router A in the subnet. Now see here, packet 4 is transmitted in this route. The packet 3 is transmitting in this direction. And here we need to observe one point. All packets are not using same route to reach the destination. The packets are traveling independently. Here this is called as packet. This packet is called as datagram. This circle is called as datagram subnet. Here this carrier equipment is called as datagram subnet or carriers equipment. The A, B, C, D, E, F, or all these are called as routers. Here, when coming to the router, every router is having a routing table. That means according to that routing table, the packet will be transmitted. Here see the A's routing table. This is A means this one. The router A's routing table will be like this. Initially, it will be the table will be like here. How many routers we are having? A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, A, B, C, D, E, F. That means we are having 6 routers. The routing table consisting of, see, these are the destinations. The first column represents the destinations. See here. First column represents the destination. The second column represents the line. This is from A to A. There is no line is required. A to B. Direct line is there. So the line will be B. A to C, the line will be C. Why? Because we are having direct connection from A to C. And A to D. A to D, if you A to D, the line will be B. Okay? The line will be B. Who is 515? Who is 515? Just call me after the class. Okay? A to D, the line will be B. A to D, the line will be B. And A to E, we have, see, A to E, we are having two routes. If we go in this route, A to B, B to D, D to E. If we go in this route, A to C and C to E. So always we choose the best route. A to E, we are having C. The line will be C. And A to F. A to F, we are having C. Okay. This is the A's routing table. This is initial part, and after A to A there is no line, A to B there is B, A to C there is C, A to D there is B, A to E. See here, A to E, I mentioned B here. Why? Because later, first 1, 2, 3 packets are transmitted, right? After 1, 2, 3 packets are transmitted, we use A to D, A to D as, sorry, A to E as C. Now for packet P4, A to E as B. Why? Because the packet 4 is transmitting in this direction. It is traveling in this direction. So A to E will become B, C. That is the difference. For only A to E is B. A to F is B. Okay. You need to observe these two. A to E previously it is C. A to F it is C. A to E it is B now. A to F it is B now. Similarly, observe the C's table. C to A, we are having direct line A. C to B, we don't have direct line. To reach B, C to B means we need, if we want to go from C to B, first we need to go A, thereafter B. So the line will be A. C to C, there is no line required. C to D, we have direct line. C to D, the line will be D. C to E, the line will be E. C to F, the line will be E. Okay. Similarly, we are having E's table. What we need to observe here is we are having here there is no ordering. Why? Because sometimes packet 1 reaches to the destination, arrives at the destination after packet 2 arrived. After packet 4 will be arrived before packet 3 will be arrived. Okay, like that. That means at the destination there is no ordering will be maintained. No ordering will be maintained at the destination. Okay. This is the point to be noted. The question is a packet with a destination D. See, a packet with a destination D arrives at router A. Then which router will router A send this packet? See, the question they are asking is the packet destination is D. The packet destination is D. Then the packet arrives at A. The packet arrives at A. The packet destination is D. Then A needs to decide, okay, to which router the packet will be transmitted next, either C or B. Okay, how it will be selected? The A will select according to the routing table. According to the routing table, he will check the packet destination will be D, right? From A to D. From A to D, he will check. A to D, the route will be B. Okay, like that he will check. Okay, this is the answer for the question given on the screen. Okay, we have completed the third survey, the third design issue also, that is implementation of connection-less service. Here we need to observe one point in connection-less service, that is there is no ordering. Why? Because if we send the packet 1, 2, 3, 4 in the same order, there is no guarantee all packets receives in the arrived at the destination in the same order. Why? Because if all packets follow the same route, all will reach us to the destination in the sent order. They are using independent routes. They are using independent routes. That is the reason why the packet arrives at the destination at different time intervals. Okay, and the packet is called as datagram, and the subnet is called as datagram subnet. That is the point. Those are the points to be noted in the implementation of connection-less service. Now the fourth design issue is implementation of connection-oriented service. See here in the connection-oriented service, in the previous slide we have, if we use a connection-oriented service, what we need to be done? First, we need to stop. 3 steps needs to be followed. The first step is we need to establish a connection before data delivery. That is, we need to establish a virtual circuit. After virtual circuit has been created, we start transmitting the data. That after data transmission is completed, we will be remove that virtual circuit. The first point, for connection oriented service, we need a virtual circuit subnet. Like there we have used datagram subnet. Here we are using virtual circuit subnet. Here, what the basic idea why we are using the virtual circuit is, in the previous case, for every packet we need to choose a new route. For every packet we need to choose a new route. Here, once the route has been set, all packets needs to be transmitted in the same route. See the second point, the idea behind the virtual circuit is to avoid having to choose a new route for every packet sent. Only one route we are using. All packets must be transmitted in the same route. Okay. When this route will be established after the connection has been set up. Once the connection has been set up, the route will be decided. All packets must be transmitted in that route only. Okay. Here we are having some problem. That route is used for all traffic. That means all traffic means all packets are transmitted in the same route. Third point, C, with connection oriented service, each packet carries an identifier telling that the virtual circuit, to which virtual circuit it belongs to. I will show you in the example. Remember this third point, students. In this service, that is connection oriented service, each packet carries an identifier that is telling which virtual circuit it belongs to. Which virtual circuit it belongs to. This is the diagram represents implementation of connection oriented service. See here, the difference between the previous diagram and this diagram is, similarly, there we are using we are used host 1 only, host 1 and host 2 and host 3. 3 hosts are present in this one. host 3 and host 1. Host 1 is holding process P1, host 3 is holding process P3, host 2 is holding process P2. Okay. Now here, host 1 and host 3 are having point-to-point connection with the router A in the carrier's equipment. This carrier equipment is called as virtual circuit subnet. This carrier is also called as subnet. In the subnet, we are having the routers, and this subnet is called as virtual circuit subnet. See, only one difference. Identify here. Packet 1, packet 2, packet 3, packet 4. All packets are transmitted in one direction. All packets are transmitted in one direction in one route. Okay. This is the point to be understand, students. That means before transmitting the data, we need to establish a virtual circuit, and all packets needs to be transmitted in the same route. Okay. Now see, like routing tables in the connection oriented service, connectionless service, here we are having some virtual circuit tables here. For every router, we are having tables. Unlike routing table, this is, see here, A's table. This is incoming and this is outgoing. That means for router A, what are incoming and this is outgoing. See, I will show you, will tell you one example. For A, see, for A, what are the incoming? It is getting packet from host 3 and it is getting from packet from host 1. So see here, host 1. Okay. It is 1, host 3. That means from host, just forget about 1, 1. This is 1, 1, 1, 2. Forget about this. I will tell you next. From host 1, A is getting data. From host 3, A is getting data. Then what is outgoing table? See, from A to which router A is transmitting the data. See, packet 3 and packet 4 or whatever the things, all packets are transmitted in the same direction. So what is the outgoing for A? C. C is the outgoing for A. C is the outgoing for A. So in the outgoing table, see that C here, C and C. Okay. That means the packet which is received A, coming to A, the packet which is received from host 1 is sent to C. The packet which is received from host 3 is sent to C. This is the second one, right? So second that means this is the second packet. Okay. Now C stable. What is the incoming for C? A. A is the incoming. So in the C table, the incomings are A and A. Okay. Next, the outgoing for C is E. So in the outgoing table of C, we are having E and E. In the E table, we are having incoming is C. E table, the incoming is C. The outgoing is F. Okay. Here, this is the virtual circuit subnet. Here, this is called as virtual circuit subnet. And we are having routers. Here, the router is not maintaining the routing table. It will maintaining a virtual circuit table. Virtual circuit table. In the virtual circuit table, we are having only virtual circuit numbers. We are having virtual circuit numbers. Just student, I am giving a small task here. Why I said this column? This is incoming and this is outgoing. And what about these numbers? 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1212. Okay, just think and go through the internet and search the things. Okay, this is the last one. I will tell you tomorrow this about this table. In tomorrow's class, we are going to discuss about the last one, that is comparison of virtual circuit and datagram subnet. This is a table, and this, we are having some issues. What will be in the datagram subnet and what will be in the virtual circuit subnet? Okay. After that, we will move to the next routing algorithms. Okay. That's it for today, students. Thank you. Who is 515? Ask him or her to call me.